It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege of interviewing the Worcester State Lancers head women's lacrosse coach, Coach Kelly Downs. How are you doing today?
Good, great. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Can you talk about how you knew that you want to get started in coaching in college lacrosse?
Yeah, I would say I had a great college coach. She was actually my field hockey and lacrosse coach, which obviously is unique, but she really motivated me. I thoroughly enjoyed my time in both sports, and I said more people should have this experience. And so I wanted to give back to a team as well and kind of do what she did to us and have a great experience, learn a lot, have a lot of fun, and play the game that we love.
What was that experience like going to Bridgewater State and getting to play lacrosse and field hockey in college?
Yeah, it was awesome. I made my decision pretty late on where I wanted to go to school. I wasn't even sure if I was going to play two sports, one sport. And so my sister actually went to Bridgewater and played field hockey. And so I saw how much fun she was having, and the success she was having as well. So I said, you know what, that's where I'm going to go. So I was able to play with her for 2 years on the field hockey team. So that was a lot of fun as well.
How was that experience like getting to play, as you said, with your sister on the field hockey team?
It was awesome. I mean, she was a goalie and I was the center back. So there were times where she would just push me out of the way of the ball. That way she could get to it. But it was awesome. I mean, like I said, she was super successful. I was really successful. So we got to play a lot together. We even lived together for a year as well. So it was a really great experience. Obviously my mother and father really enjoyed it because they didn't have to split games. So they could just go to wherever Bridgewater was playing and see both of us. So it was a great family experience.
As an athlete, what was that experience like putting on that jersey representing Bridgewater State?
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, it's a privilege, right, to put on your school colors every day. So it was really cool. And again, you're with your family, people that you spend so much time with, and in my case, friends and family, right? True family, blood family. So it was awesome. It was a privilege. You can't take any day for granted. It goes by so fast. But it was awesome.
As an athlete, what was that experience like being a dual athlete and playing in two sports?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, right? The time management structure. You're in season pretty much every month, because when you're not in your current season, you're in your non-traditional season. So it's definitely a lot, but it takes the right type of athlete, and someone, like I said, who has a time management structure, who's kind of willing to put some other things and sacrifices for their team and for their sport. And I wouldn't change it for a second. Like I said, I loved my experience, my 4 years at Bridgewater. I wouldn't trade it for anything else. I would go back in a heartbeat if I could for one day, just one day. I'm not sure if I want to do a whole year again, running all those sprints and things and those fitness tests. But yeah, I mean, it was awesome. And I had a great experience, like I said. So
As an athlete, what was that transition like going from being an athlete to a coach at your alma mater?
yeah, yeah, it was tough. I mean, I graduated obviously when I was 21, and then I was an assistant field hockey coach when I was 22 years old. So I mean, some of the people I was coaching, I was standing next to the year before, fighting for a championship with, right? So now I'm telling them to get on the line, or hopefully not get on the line because they're doing things well. But yeah, I mean, I would say that my teammates who now were my team, right? They were awesome. They were respectful. It was an easy transition just because of the relationships we had and the respect we had for each other. So it was a great transition. And again, I wanted to still be a part of that family and still try to build that culture and again win those championships for them. And so it was great. I mean, the year after, again, my first year as an assistant, we were super successful. And yeah, so again, it was awesome to just still be a part of the program for 2 years.
How is that experience like getting to coach on the defensive side for Bridgewater State?
Yeah. Yeah, so I played defense for field hockey. Like I said, I was a defensive back. And so um it was like I said, I was able to coach my old teammates and kind of share the knowledge that I had when playing and again just really try to be a defensive unit back there.
After leaving Bridgewater State, what was that experience like going to Bay State, but Bullets
Oh,
and
Bay
getting
State Bullets. Yep. So they're awesome. They're a club team that I'm a coach with. They're all over Mass. And they do different tournaments and things like that. And they're great. It's a great support system because it's a lot of other either college coaches or high school coaches in the area. So being able to learn from other people and again travel. We've been to Maryland, Delaware, Florida, different areas, and just able to continue to coach lacrosse and again learn from some people that had been coaching way longer than I have. And just again keep learning and trying to be a sponge and be the best coach I can be.
How was that experience like coming to Woodchester and first becoming an assistant coach and then associate head coach?
Yeah, so when I came to Worcester, I was an assistant coach for both field hockey and lacrosse, which was great, right? I was a field hockey and lacrosse player in college, and now I get to do it at the collegiate level. And it was great to, again, learn from two different head coaches and different styles and things like that. And then I became the associate head coach for women's lacrosse and then ended up dropping the assistant field hockey role just because, as you know, obviously with recruiting and now with the new NCAA guidelines, there's just so much that is put into one season of coaching. And so it was a great honor just to again keep moving up in the ranks and eventually take over the program. And so it was a great experience, especially again coming from my alma mater. I was obviously really young and then again still young, learning, and then gradually moving up.
What were some of the things that you learned to help you to take over and to become the next head coach?
Yeah, I think it's just really learning what coaching style is yours and what your philosophies are. I think I think that's like, what kind of coach do you want to be? Again, I had a great experience in college and I knew I wanted to be similar to my college coach, but not everybody's the same, right? So even as similar as I wanted to be, I still needed to kind of carve out the direction I wanted to go and what I wanted to bring to my program or change to the program. Um, so yeah, like I said, my past really helped me get to where I am today. And really, I had some really great mentors who helped me get there. So,
How is that feeling like getting announced to become the next head coach?
oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, again, I was still really young. I'm trying to think how old I was. I was in my mid-20s. So to be a college head coach, I know I wanted to be a college head coach at some point. Um, and I was again grateful to have that opportunity pretty early in life. Not a lot of people get to have that opportunity, let alone in their mid-20s. So when it was announced, again, when I was the associate head coach, I knew that the head coach at the time was about to retire soon. And so I kind of knew it was coming. And I just had to keep proving myself that I was the right person for the position. And yeah, I mean, it was awesome. I was elated. I still today, I kind of forget that I'm a head coach sometimes. I'm like, I can't believe this. So yeah, it was a great experience.
What was that transition like, as you said, going from being the associate head coach and having your previous head coach under you, and then becoming a head coach?
Yeah, so she never coached under me. Um, she retired, so I was a assistant coach for her and then an associate head coach, and then the head coach after she retired. So it was a pretty easy transition. We worked really well together. And so even the year that I was the associate head coach, we again still did the same things as we did the assistant coach when I was in the assistant coach role. So it was pretty seamless of a transition. Obviously, once I became the head coach, obviously I took on more things that I didn't do before, right? I mean, you have to now do more fundraising and more planning of the day-to-day game stuff and some things that I obviously didn't take over yet. So obviously with that transition, I took on those things. But yeah, I mean, again, we had a great working relationship, and she was a great, again, mentor for me. And she's still around in the department today. And so yeah, so we still chat and stuff like that. So
What was that feeling like the first time you got to step onto that field as a head coach?
yeah, it was pretty great. I mean, I it was weird because I think it was a year or two later than was COVID, and we got a new turf field, and so that trend. So I feel as though my first year or two as head coach then kind of got cut off a little bit. There was like a quick timeout in there, and then now we're back. And so I've really just now had like 3 or 4 years in a row consistently as a head coach. So I feel like now I'm in a rhythm, which is nice. My team is awesome. Um, they're a family, and it's a pleasure to go to practice every day. Again, they make my job really, really easy. They're a great group of girls. And so yeah, I enjoy, even to this day, every time walking onto that field. I was like, this is a dream job, so I can't complain at all.
As a head coach, what is the difference between coaching on a turf field, as you said, versus coaching on natural grass?
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of differences, especially in lacrosse if the ball gets on the ground. Um, Ground ball work is definitely tougher on grass than it is on turf. Um, I mean, we obviously I grew up playing on grass, field hockey and lacrosse actually. Um, Field hockey is even tougher on grass. But yeah, I mean, we're pretty lucky that now artificial turf is out there. But again, you just have to go with the bounces, see what happens. Again, goalies are, it's a little tougher getting a bounce shot on grass because you don't really know what's gonna go. But yeah, I would definitely pick turf over grass if I had to choose one.
As a head coach, what was that feeling like the first time you got a win as a head coach?
Oh yeah. It was great. My first year taking over the program, I think we had 3 wins maybe. And so it wasn't our most successful year here. But again, we were all learning together and doing things, and yeah, it was pretty great. But even still, every year since then, every win since then, they're all great. For lacrosse, we only play 17 games a season in the regular season. So it's not like we can get a 40 win season. So really any win from here on out or that I've had, it feels like the first one all over again. So it's awesome.
Can you talk about, of course, the culture that you've helped to build for the women's lacrosse program?
What was that?
Can you talk about the culture that you've built for the women's lacrosse program?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's something that we take pride in on our team is our culture. Again, being a female sport, there's always some like stereotypes of cliques and mean girls and things like that. And that's something that we absolutely pride ourselves in, that we are very inclusive. We don't have cliques. Again, we're not a mean girl team. We really try to incorporate the freshmen from day one. There's no hierarchy by like the second practice. Some of the people don't even know what grade everyone's in. You know what I mean? They're just really one team, one family. And so that's what we really take our pride in, is really making sure we're inclusive in that. And so that's really what I just keep trying to build is obviously in the recruiting process. I really try to make sure that people our team first philosophy, team first success. Because if you're for the team first, then the individual accolades will follow from that. And I'm a firm believer on that. You can't have individual accolades first and then your team's successful. I don't think that's the way it works. I think if your team is successful, then the individual at the end of the year will be able to get their accolades that they're needed.
Who are some of the teams in your conference that you compete against?
Excuse me. Who are some of the teams that what?
In the conference that you compete against.
Oh yeah, so we are in the Mascot Conference. So we play against again Framingham, Westfield, Fitchburg, Mass Maritime, Salem, Bridgewater. So yeah, so Bridgewater's in our conference. It's a pretty big rival every year for us personally as well. So yeah.
What is that home game atmosphere like when teams like Bridgewater comes to your home facility?
Yeah, it's crazy. I think my team knows, obviously that's my alma mater. We actually also have had some teammates. So some of our players, their sisters are on Bridgewater. We've also had a player on Framingham as well. So there's a little extra excitement in those games, just because of the sister duel. They know it's obviously my alma mater, especially for Bridgewater. We had a 20-year drought for a win against them. Back in 2021, we beat them for the first time, like I said, in 20 years. It was like 22 games. And since then we haven't lost. So we've been on a 3-year win streak now. And so we hope to keep it that way. But yeah, so I think that obviously adds to the competition as well, as there's definitely a little rivalry there from past.
What is that away atmosphere like when going away and playing teams?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the location too and how far. We're pretty lucky that we're in the center of Massachusetts, right? We're in Worcester, so the center. So we really only have to travel about an hour and a half either direction to hit some of our opponents. So we are lucky that we are able to have a lot of home like fans away. So even when we went to our furthest point this year, we went to Maine. We still had a pretty big contingency there with us. So yeah, sometimes again, depending on the stadium that we're going to, obviously depending on how loud their music is. Again, our team really thrives on like the loud music and all that and the cheers and the chants and stuff. So I would say arguably some of our players probably like away games because of it's a different warm-up, it's new like music and stuff like that. They like to see the other schools. And especially because we're lucky enough to have our fans travel with us because we're pretty close.
What was that experience like getting to play in Maine?
To play in Maine, it's awesome. I mean, some of the team had never even been to Maine before. So that's really cool when we go to a location that some of the players haven't been to. So it's fun for them to kind of say that they've been to Maine now. And, we went up there twice actually this past season. So it's fun for them to, now be in Maine twice. And we luckily had good weather. Both times it wasn't snowing, thankfully. But yeah.
What does that recruitment process look like for those prospective student athletes? And as a head coach, what do you look at in those prospective student athletes?
Yeah, the recruitment process, I think for some can be really stressful. You start your sophomore year, and depending on what division you want to go to, it can be pretty strenuous going to all the tournaments and going to all the showcases. So what I try to do for my recruits is just really try to make it as easy as possible for them. I try to be as communicative as I can, try to be as honest as I can. So that way, we're not trying to, again, string someone along that we know we're not really interested in. And then, again, for what I'm looking for is, like I said, we're a team first, university. Like we're focused on the team over the individual. And so I really like to promote that in my recruiting process. That way, again, they know that our team culture, is really important to us. I look for that person that maybe is going for that 50-50 ground ball in the last minute of the game, or, that first person that, goes over to a girl that scored a goal, or, the first person that hustles off the field. So I'm just looking for those intangibles, those unteachables, in the player.
As a coach, what is it like seeing those players fall in love with the campus and the facility?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, we have a beautiful campus. We have a lot of updates. We have a brand new wellness center. I say brand new, is like it's 9 years old now or 8 years old, but it still feels new because it's really nice. And then we have a new turf field that was just built in 2020, 2021, like I said before. So yeah, I mean our campus is beautiful. We have a new dining hall and things like that. So when people come on campus, it's nice when recruits really feel at home right away. That's kind of our obviously our hope. And so it's really nice as a coach when, again, we really want them to be part of our family here, and then they feel that sense of belonging and that sense of home when they step on campus. That's really nice.
As a head coach, what is it like getting to see those freshmen put on that jersey for the first time for Woodchester?
Yeah, it's really awesome. I mean, they've worked so hard to get to that point, right? Like I said, that the recruiting process for some is really stressful. And then obviously when they come in and before that first game, ours are obviously hung up in the locker room and they're so excited, and it's kind of like the cherry on top of all their hard work, and now they've made it, and now they can like relax almost, right? Not relax because they want to keep working, but the stress should be over. Now it should be the fun, and um because all their hard work is really paid off, you know what I mean? And now they can really just enjoy their 4 years with their team, and again keep working hard to now gain those minutes on the field.
As a head coach, what is it like seeing those freshmen step onto that field for the first time and get to
Yeah, I
achieve
mean,
those milestones?
yeah, it's awesome. I mean, it's really they're pretty nervous that first step for sure. So we really just want to make them feel comfortable and give them the confidence that they're able to do exactly what maybe a senior or fifth year are doing. This past season we had our first game, and we had a starting freshman draw controller, and she was like, I can't believe I am doing this. And she has the skills, and just making sure she has the confidence to do that. So it's really awesome to see, right when they're on the field.
What is it like getting to see those seniors put on that uniform for the last time?
Yeah, I mean that's really sad. You know, senior days or last games of the season. Those are probably the toughest days as a coach, because it's almost over, right? Obviously, if there's playoffs, you never want to think obviously that's gonna be your last time putting on that jersey, but yeah, that's probably the toughest day because now they're going on and moving on to obviously a career and a bright future ahead, and but yeah, that's a hard day.
As a head coach, what is it like seeing those seniors go into playing professional lacrosse, whether it's Athletes Unlimited or the US route?
Yeah, I think it's really great for them. I think lacrosse right now is booming. It's really exciting that lacrosse is going to be in the Olympics in 2028. I think, obviously all these club teams that you see for women's lacrosse out there, and there's a lot of conversation around women's lacrosse, and I think it's awesome. It's positive. We've had some great athletes to look up to with, Charlotte North with her career, and now Izzy Skane with her career. And so I think it's great to that they're able to continue on and play, like I said, like you said, professionally, or soon to be in the Olympics. And I think that's going to be awesome. It's giving the young girls something to dream of. When all these gymnastics were going on in the Olympics, and people were like, "Oh, I want to be Simone Biles," or "I want to be." Now we'll be able to have those same things for lacrosse, and be on that national television and stuff like that.
As a head coach, what have been some of the things that you've been able to accomplish so far?
Oh gosh. Well, we were the regular season champs in 2021. So that was really awesome to really see the girls' dedication and stuff really um like come to fruition, and really, I have a plaque up here that the girls are able to look at every day. We have a banner in the gym. And so we've gotten halfway there, and now our next goal is to really make it to NCAA's. We've never been there as a program, and so really that's the girls' goal over the next, I would say, 2-3 years, is to make it to the NCAA's for sure.
What are some of your future plans for the program moving forward?
Some future plans for us? Yeah, I mean, obviously I would love for them to again win the tournament and get on to the NCAA platform. I think that would be awesome. Otherwise, I just think continuing on with the culture that we've created. It's like I said, it's really fun to be a part of. It's great to go out to the field every day and to see their faces and again create those bonds and those friendships. I want to continue obviously with that. And then just continue on with those individual accolades. 2 years ago, we had our first student athlete selected to the IWLCA senior game. We've had some all region selections. Maybe get someone to be an All-American. That would be a pretty awesome for them. So yeah, just can kind of continue on with the stuff that we've been dreaming of, really kind of make those things happen.
What advice would you give those incoming freshmen entering their first year of college lacrosse?
I would say just have fun. I think like any freshman going into college, it's something new, right? So have fun, try something new, get out of your comfort zone. Again, just be you. I think you're able to kind of start fresh your freshman year somewhere. So really just, make sure you're saying yes to things, don't sit in your room. Yeah, go to the gym with your teammate, go to the pod with someone that maybe you've never eaten lunch with before. So do those things. And again, do the extra. I think the extra really helps and it'll pay off in the end.
What advice would you give those seniors looking to play professional lacrosse after their collegiate career?
Gosh, what advice? I would say just keep working. I mean, I think it's great that we have the professional lacrosse level, but it's they're really good lacrosse players, right? They just they work hard, all right? They do the extra. And so I think it's only going to get better from here, right? There's only going to be more and more athletes that are able to play at that level. So my advice would just be keep doing it, keep going, work hard, and just don't have regrets that you maybe could have done the extra and then you didn't type of thing.
What advice would you give those players looking to get into coaching after their playing career?
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I think coaching right now is kind of not a lot of people want to get into coaching, which stinks. And so I would say just remember the experience you had, even if it was bad. Make that change for your future team. And then obviously if you had a great experience like I did, try to be that next coach to give a great experience to somebody. So I would just say it's a great career. It might be tough at first and to really get your team to the point that you want it to be at. But it's definitely worth it in the end, for sure.
What advice would you give those assistant coaches transitioning from being assistant coaches to head coaches one day?
Yeah. Obviously that's what I did. And it's just really making sure that you have your philosophy and what you want your team to look like set. I think it's really easy to again listen to others on like how you should run your team. And I got really bad advice once, like right before I became the head coach. And thankfully I snapped out of it and I was like, that's not who I am. Like, why am I gonna do that? So it's really just making sure you stand your ground on your beliefs and what you want your team to look like. And again, making sure you don't listen to kind of the noise, because there's a lot of people that'll say what to do and what you're doing wrong, and make sure you're listening to the people that you trust, and have a good mentor to really fall back on, and again, kind of throw some things off the wall to them.
What advice would you give those new head coaches out there looking to build their own program and legacy?
Yeah, again, similar is just again really try to be a sponge, really learn. I mean, the IWLCA has some great programs out there for new coaches, and again, there's a lot of coaches like myself who are willing to talk to anybody and really help them along the way, and again, get to the point where they feel confident and comfortable, and again, their programs where they want it to be. So again, use your resources, use your mentors. Again, stay with it. It's all worth it in the end. But again, the first couple of years are going to be tough. Once you get rolling, it's really, really enjoyable.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media along with your program at?
Yeah, so my program's handle, great question. I think it's Worcester State Lax. I should know this. It is Worcester State Lax. So we have an Instagram and a Facebook. So definitely give us a follow.
Thank you again, Coach Kelly Downs, for your interview and best luck in your future at Worcester State as the head women's lacrosse coach.
Thank you so much.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Kelly Downs, for your interview and best luck in your future.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.